Hey, family, thank you again for making us a part of your day. You're listening to Saturdays with Senior Talk here on WVON 1690. Now, last week we had a special guest, and they're going to be returning. The company is called Chicago Commons. They are going to be returning for the next upcoming weeks, sharing about their complete wraparound services for the entire family. And our special guest returning once again is Mr. Terence Sims. Welcome back, Terence. It's a beautiful day. Good morning. How are you this day?
Thank you. Good afternoon. How we doing?
It's still morning, Terence. You know, it's
My bad.
don't forget it's still morning,
But
Terence.
I'm lost of track of time.
All right.
I'm sorry. It is morning.
Don't worry about it, but thank you so much. Now, on last week, we had the pleasure of getting started on our series that's coming up for the next couple of weeks, and we were talking about the wraparound services that Chicago Commons offers and the over 120-some plus years you've been in business. But if we could give a brief recap, but today we're also going to talk about home care, because a lot of people had questions about home care, and then we're going to dive just a teeny bit into the next week's series, which is going to be about caregiving. So just give us a recap, if you would, Terence, to our listening audience this morning.
Okay, as I noted, Chicago Commons was founded in 1894, so we've been in existence over 130 years. We have early childhood education, which is Head Start, that starts at the ages of about 6 weeks up to elementary age. We also have wraparound services, which is Family Hub, that focuses on digital literacy, health and wellness, financial literacy, and job readiness. And then, of course, we have senior care, which comprises adult day services and home care. And Chicago Commons' mission is to eradicate poverty as we embrace opportunities, as we spread them throughout generations, and overcoming barriers to success.
Absolutely. So let's get into why we're here today. You know, one of the things that we led up in our conversation last week was talking about home care and the opportunity for people to become preferred workers for their loved one. But, you know, some of us are trying to self-diagnose our loved one. That's my mama, that's my auntie, that's my uncle. And we really need to think about it professionally. So when is it the right time to start considering home care, if you would?
So that's a great question. So let me say most families wait too long, usually, until there's a crisis. One of the hardest decisions families face, you want to respect your loved ones, the independence, but you also want to ensure that they are safe, healthy, and supported. The challenge is that the need for home care rarely shows up all at once. It creeps in quietly through small changes that are easy to overlook or kind of explain away. So what do I mean? You can examine subtle warning signs. Often the earliest indicators don't feel urgent. They may seem minor until they aren't, right? So missed medications, for example, maybe the pills are left in an organizer or prescriptions aren't refilled on time. This can quickly lead to serious health complications. Weight loss or spoiled food in the refrigerator. You might notice uneaten groceries or expired food or a lack of proper meals. Cooking can become overwhelming, or they can simply just forget to eat. There may be a decline in hygiene, wearing the same clothes repeatedly, skipping showers, neglecting basic grooming, which can signal physical or cognitive challenges possibly. And then increase falls or close falls, which, you know, falls can impact any of us, but near misses can be potential major red flags, which may be subjective to one's balance, one's strength, and the reaction time to be declining. But that's just the physical aspect. There's the emotional and social shifts as well. Physical is only one part. Emotional well-being matters just as much. Isolation, are they going out less? Are they avoiding social activities that they used to enjoy? Do you see signs of depression or withdrawal? A noticeable drop in mood, energy, engagement can signal loneliness or cognitive decline. You know, humans are social by nature.
Yes, sir.
When connection fades, overall health often follows. And then there's safety triggers, right? That we shouldn't ignore. Wandering, getting lost, leaving a stove on, leaving appliances running, confusion about time and place and routine. You know, these are not just inconveniences. These are, you know, safety risks that can escalate easily. And when you combine all those things together, as you notice them over a period of time, it tells a much broader, bigger story on what's going on with your loved one.
Absolutely. That was phenomenal. You dived really great in. But let me ask you this. Some of us are still going to work on diagnosing our loved one. So can you tell us of a situation where a family waited too long, and what were the chances of how they were introduced to home care?
So Unfortunately, we have some situations where we have bedbound clients.
Mm.
Bedbound clients meaning they can't get out the bed on their own without some assistance. But when you have clients that want to be independent, that feel like they may be able to shift and maybe lean over and get into a wheelchair, they're not always able to ambulate to do that, then, this is a situation where it's gotten too late. There may have been previous warning signs, as I stated earlier, maybe imbalance or things like that. Or there may be a chronic illness that just happens. It probably progressively happen or, incrementally happen. But at some point, they're less able to be as dependent as they would like to be. But psychologically, they feel like they can do it. The mind will tell you one thing, but the body will tell you something else. And so when you have bedbound clients that need, the typical daily living activities that we provide in our plan of care, the typical day-to-day tasks, they can't do it on their own. And it's very difficult to be independent at that point. And when you don't have family members that can tend to you on a day-to-day basis throughout the day, whether it's the morning or the afternoon or the evening, this can become very challenging. And so at that point, it's kind of like, okay, what do you do? Do you seek home care services? Do you need home health at that point? Or do you need to be in a nursing home, especially if you don't have those supportive services? So like I said, we have quite a few bedbound clients that have our services. But if they didn't have our services, more than likely they would probably be in a nursing home, unfortunately, if they didn't have family members that could tend to them. And some need 24-hour care.
Yes, yes, they really do. Now, what is the difference between normal aging and signs that a loved one may need more help?
Well, normal aging kind of refers to the natural, gradual changes that happen in the body and the mind, right? That can happen to any of us, no matter what age we are, depending on genetics, DNA, and those type of things. It's more physical, more cognitive, more emotional, and more social changes. So as we age, sometimes if we don't take care of our health, we could be taking care of our health. I mean, anything can happen. You just see a deterioration over time. And what ends up happening a lot of times when I think about our existing clients, we may have a client that comes to us in year one and all they need is basic daily, tasks being done, cooking, cleaning, like sweeping, mopping, running errands and things like that. But over a period of time, because we have quite a few clients that have been with us 15, 20 years. But unfortunately, over time, as they get older, illness can kind of creep up on those individuals and their health deteriorates. And so, that is looked at, okay, the needs may increase, a reassessment may need to be done. They may have started out with maybe 10 hours a week, that may increase to 20 hours a week, that may increase to 30 hours a week. They may go from 5 days a week to 7 days a week. So it really just depends. And that's just normal part of aging, unfortunately. But fortunately, we do have support services in place that can tend to those clients' needs.
Well, let me say congratulations and cheerlead to you. First of all, you mentioned something that need to be noted, that you with people, but then as they're aging, you still have a relationship with them. So you're trusted to extend the quality of care that they need because you have built a relationship with them 15 years, 20 years, 10 years, whatever it is. They chose to stay with Chicago Commons and the services that you provide. So that is a good thing to say. To note, to cheerlead you on that you've had that kind of relationship. People they heal differently with people that they're comfortable with. So that's a good thing. I just wanted to mention that. If you would, Terence, we've been talking, people may want to say, how do I get in touch with them? Let's do us a quick reprieve. Let's give them the phone number and the website, if you would, please.
Okay, so our phone number is 773-373-5055, or you can reach us on the web at www.chicagocommons.org.
All right, fantastic. What we're going to do now is take a quick commercial break, and you'll hear from our friends from Chicago Commons, and we'll be right back after this commercial message.